Celebrating 30 years of phenomenal trend forecasting, 5 times a week, Monday through Friday. Here's Gerald Celente with today's trends in the news.
Hi, this is Gerald Celente. It's Thursday, April 21st, 2016. And here are some of today's trends in the news. On the market front, over there in Asia, hey, Nikkei was up. Shanghai was down. Hang Seng was up. Over there in Europe, well, FTSE was down. But DAX was up, but CAC was down. And over here in the States, whoop, down, whoop, over 110 points. And NASDAQ came down a little bit too. Oil was down over too. And gold down a couple of bucks. But gold was way up earlier in the day, up over $17. Let's see what happened, folks. Well, here we go. The NASDAQ composite closed down just 2 points lower as Apple weighed in, falling nearly 1.1% into bear market territory. That means it's down over 10% from its high. And as we look on to other reasons as to why the Dow went down, well, transports closed down 1.2%, falling back into correction territory. It's more than 10%. So, why? Think about it. United Continental fell nearly 10% as the greatest decliner just today. With fuel prices so cheap, how can they be losing money? But looks like they are. In U.S. economic news, the Philly Fed Index was minus 1.6% in April. Why? They're peddling pessimism, I tell you. That's right, fiction. That's all it is. Those numbers are actually up. Somebody lied about it. And here's what went on and what happened with gold. Draghi came out, the ECB bank president over there, former member of the Goldman Sachs gang, and he said, quote, that the ECB was going to keep rates unchanged, and he expects rates to remain at present or lower for an extended period of time. This is a scam. The growth isn't there. It's not happening. And in other good news, U.S. economic news, the FHFA housing price index showed a 0.4% rise in February after a downwardly revised 0.4% uptick in January. The reason gold plunged some $17, there's speculation out there, and went down like this. It was up $17 and then just plunged down, that somebody dumped over $2 billion worth of gold in the exchange markets. Who knows? We just talked about Draghi and all the dough they're pumping into the markets. European shares are yet to take off. European stocks have hit several headwinds in recent months, including steep gains in the euro, weakness in global growth, and a range of local political risks, on and on and on. So all of this stimulation has not boosted the European equity markets because they're not as rigged as the U.S. equity markets, probably because there's no real growth here in the States either. So all of this playful money that they're pumping in there, it's not doing the job. And here's more proof. Singapore struggles with glut of offices. Singapore's busy skyline is getting more crowded as the supply of office space surges, driving prices lower as developers scramble to attract a dwindling number of prospective clients. It's a global slowdown. Don't believe me? Hedge funds see $15 billion outflow as poor return fuels anger at, quote, exorbitant fees. The total invested in hedge funds fell to $2.86 trillion in the first 3 months of the year, making it the first time since 2009 that the sector has suffered 2 consecutive quarters of net outflows. These markets are volatile. Look, the first 2 months of the year were, wow, look at this panic. And then they come in with negative interest rates. Draghi comes in March with $20 billion more worth of 20 billion euros more worth of stimulus, even buying corporate bonds. It can't boost the markets. You're looking at downturns. I'm reading them, whether they're from high-end luxury apartments over there and dwellings in London, to Singapore, to Miami, to New York. The high end is coming down. That's why these hedge funds, people are tiring of paying the high fees, and the risk levels are growing. And it's global. Indian lenders start facing up to debt problems. Why face up to them? Ignore them. Stressed assets accounted for an estimated 14% of India's total banking system. The picture is particularly bleak at state-owned banks. Stressed assets account for 17% of their total lending. I mean, this thing goes on and on. I'm just giving you the outlines here with the headlines. We can figure it out when we put it all together. It's called Globalnomics. And the Globalnomic is that you look past just what's going on with the numbers. You have to look at geopolitics and all the other implications. We keep talking about China buying up the world. Well, this is buried in the back over here on page 16. Chinese groups ink $3.6 billion Lexmark deal. U.S. printer maker is the latest acquisition as businesses look for overseas targets. Lennox, the U.S. printer manufacturing, has agreed to be acquired by a Chinese consortium for $3.6 billion as mainland companies continue their spending spree on established brands in developed nations. Chinese buyers represented $101 billion, or 15% of the global deal activity in the first 3 months. All right? America has wars to fight and people to kill. A bigger military. You elect me, we're going to have the biggest military in the world, and nobody's going to mess with us. It says Trump and the other dumps. Anyway, and you can see what the Chinese are doing. And you know, you heard that they're taking Andrew Jackson off that $20 bill and replacing him with Harriet Tubman. Well, as the Chinese keep taking over America, maybe they'll put Mao on the $100 bill, because it's a sellout of the first degree. And Hitler's husband is the guy that really put it into motion big time, and George Bush with bringing China into the World Trade Organization. So you can see where this is going. Another big failure, SunEdison, the big solar company, filed for Chapter 11. That's right. And they were on this deal-making frenzy. And you look at it. SunEdison's scuttled deals included a $1.9 billion takeover of Vivint Solar, the $700 million purchase of Latin American Power, the $600 million purchase. It just keeps going on. Yep. SunEdison, once the darling of the clean power industry, has lost 99% of its market value. Again, it's not only, and people will argue, no, the solar business isn't what it used to be, and it's happening worldwide. Yes, there's increases in solar panel buying, but not compared to cover the losses from cheap energy. So as long as oil and natural gas prices stay low, solar has a tough time competing, not only in the United States, where it's a very small percentage of the market, but worldwide. Again, follow the money. Retailers bolt aging malls for more luxurious digs. The middle class in America is digging its way to the bottom, and the rich cats are looking for the people with dough. And when you have a population of 7.2 billion people, there are enough people with enough money to keep the major corporations going, because that's who owns the luxury. As I mentioned, you look in fashion, it's only 5 companies, one sector after another. You follow the money, you see where they're going. So as we look in as to on-trendpreneurs, and don't forget to sign up. If you sign up very soon, you get a big discount for the upcoming July meeting. And these are the kind of things we're pointing out, but also the sectors available. And we're going to bring in some very, very wise on-trendpreneurs to put you ahead of the trends and find the profit opportunities and avoid the dangers. Here's some good news. Judge in China rules that a same-sex couple can't marry. Why? I say we should stop doing business with them. Where's Obama? Hey, he goes to all the countries and BS's what they should do. I say we should bomb them. Yeah. We tell them what to do and everything else. Let's tell them what to do there. And what else do we have here? Deadliest attack since August hits Kabul. We got plans to fix that. Haven't we been listening to our military morons telling us all the success that they've brought in destabilizing a country? For no reason at all. Read your Trends journals. The whole Afghan war is a sham. And the longest one in America. Spent more dough over there rebuilding Afghan, when you look at it for an adjusted for inflation, than the United States spent in the Marshall Plan after World War II. The United States condemns in the strongest terms the attack in Kabul that killed dozens of Afghans. They hit a security place. And wounded many more, said John Kirby, the State Department spokesperson. This incident underscores the harm that Taliban and other violent extremists continue to inflict on the Afghan people. Hey, Kirby, you want to talk about inflicting? How about the murder that Americans have inflicted all over Afghanistan? And Kirby, why are you calling the Taliban militants? They control the country before assholes like you and Bush and the rest of them pushed them out of power. Oh, yeah, and you pushed up that opium production. When the Taliban were in there, it was at like near zero, and now America is racked in an opium epidemic because of assholes like you, Kirby. And they get away with this crap, condemning other people while the United States murders people all over the world. Arrogant hypocrites. Anyway, civilian casualties in Afghan war are unabated in 2016, according to the United Nations. It's them Talibans, I tell you. And then finally, lifespan declines for white Americans. Life expectancy fell for the United States population in 2014. Isn't that great? life expectancy is declining rather than increasing because of all the crap that we eat, all the poisons they pump into the earth, the trillions they let out into the air, all the crap they allow to put in our food, and morons that are destroying the country in every way that they can. People are committing more suicide. They're more whacked out on drugs. It's a drug-dependent country. Oh, and you like them ads you have in the United States that other countries that don't have? That they allow the pharmaceutical companies to pump their crap? Yeah, you could thank Bill Clinton for it. But hey, it might get even a little bit worse. When Hillary gets in there, she could double up on it. This is Gerald Celente, and that's some of today's trends in the news.